Hurricane Dorian is causing trouble for travelers, not just in the southeast, but for those traveling to there.
Eyewitness News reporter Jeremy Baker joins us now with the latest flight issues. And Jeremy, for some of those problems are just beginning.
That's right, because the Dorian is still just barely moving off the South Florida coast, and a track that's taking it just offshore by 3 other states. Many won't even feel the wrath of the storm until later this week. On Friday, 8 airline carriers started offering waivers, allowing passengers to change their flights throughout Florida without paying a fee. Miami is a hub for American Airlines, which is offering waivers to 13 out of 16 airlines they serve throughout the state. Now, right now, these are the status updates of airports affected by Dorian. Nassau Airport in the Bahamas is open, but many flights are canceled. Miami International remains open, but check Twitter for flight status. Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport resumed flights at noon today, and Orlando International and Palm Beach International remain closed until further notice. Charleston International will close at 3 p.m. Wednesday, but plans to open Friday morning. Now, you may not think you're looking at an airport, but you are. This is Freeport International Airport on Grand Bahama, which took a beating from the over 20-foot storm surge and 30 inches of rain and Category 5 strength winds for over 24 hours. The airport completely surrounded by a ferocious Atlantic Ocean. Flights aren't the only ones being affected, but also cruise ships being routed to different ports of call or destinations.
Train, planes, and cruise ships will never put you in harm's way. We've had people that were come in and were bused by the cruise lines and actually even given train tickets depending on the area that they're in. But they do. Everybody comes together, especially on a natural disaster emergency, something forthcoming.
And also says if you're planning a trip to any of the affected areas in the next few months, make sure to purchase traveler's insurance. But until the storm is gone and responders are able to get a grasp on the damage, to sit tight and don't change or cancel any plans. Live in the studio, Jeremy Baker, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.